Hello there! This is an astrological forecast for Aquarius for the month of April 2010. And this also applies if you have an Aquarian ascendant. So you Aquarians, this month is going to be about your relationships, a hell of a lot on relationships, your finances and your career. Well, many of you have been the essence of charisma, no doubt about it. With Neptune in this first house, you have a charismatic feel to you, many of you, right now. And we've got Mars in this seventh house. So Mars has been retrograde and it's finally gone direct on the 10th of March, so 11th of March, around there. And you're starting to feel as though the energy that you're putting out to people is now starting to be reciprocated. You've been putting a lot of energy out, you Aquarians, really giving of yourself, and somehow you've got a little back, but it's not really been flowing. Now the energy should really start to be flowing. Mars in that house, for those of you that are looking for romance, boy, this is really the month for you. We've got Venus after the 25th of the month in your 5th house of love and romance. And it's very possible for those of you that are looking for that, this is going to be your lucky month. Now with Mars in that 7th house, you do need to be proactive. It's no use just sitting at home and hoping it's going to happen, although I guess you can do a lot by the internet these days, but nonetheless, it's about you getting out there, being that charismatic self that you are, Aquarians, and really proactively meeting exciting people. And also, good time for meeting up with a business partner, for maybe changing business partners, looking for somebody new to work with. But it's a time to be very proactive about getting into relationships with people in your life. We've got Jupiter, Uranus in the 2nd house still going there, so finances for many of you are erratic. As soon as you earn something, the money's just gone out again. But don't worry, have faith, it's all just coming in a flow, it's coming round to you again. We've got the Sun for much of this month in your 3rd house until about the 20th. This is a great time for learning something. For learning, for teaching, for starting a new course of study, good for communicating, good for selling, good for anything connected with the internet and technology. Great time, although I've got to caution you a little bit about technology, because this month Mercury goes retrograde on about the 18th of the month. So any communicating, any new projects, any travel arrangements, anything connected with computers or leases or legal documents, try and get them done before the 18th of the month. Because after that, when Mercury goes retrograde, very often anything you do, you have to repeat. So much better to get it done first. Now, when it goes retrograde, it's a great time for doing any in-depth research, for meeting up with old people or people you've not met for a long time, for reconnecting with old friends and acquaintances. It's a good time for sorting out your closets and your clutter and getting yourself organised. And it's also a really good time for completing projects, things that have been outstanding for a while that you've already started before Mercury went retrograde. It's a great time for actually completing them then. Now, after about the 20th of the month, we've got a lot of planets in your 4th house. So Aquarians, this is going to be a big focus on your home, your family, your environment, maybe having people round to your home, or maybe even moving home or thinking of moving. I think a lot of you are thinking of moving, and also it's a good time to put some energy into that. And if you're selling your home, good time to really beautify it and maybe get an interior designer in or somebody to help you with the design, because it's going to be a really good time. The planets are going to really help you to be able to move on. Now, we've got Saturn going retrograde this month as well. Saturn retrograde in your 8th house into Virgo. So it's a last chance saloon to look at any joint financial agreements, arrangements, check that they're in your interest. It's also important to look at any obligations you've taken on that are just too much, where you feel overwhelmed, where you feel as though you've overcommitted yourself. It's really a time when Saturn goes retrograde to start to say no, to create those boundaries, and so not to take on too many new things, but to actually perfect the things that you've taken on and you've committed to. Also a time to make sure that you take a re-look at your health and any dentistry, any dental work, particularly with Saturn ruling the teeth and the bones, to get that done and get that seen to while Saturn's retrograde until July time. We've also got Pluto going retrograde this month. On the 5th of the month, Pluto retrograde, it's a time to look at any destructive patterns that you have, particularly connected with your work, what you're doing in connection with your work, where you maybe need to change some obsessive types of behaviour that you've got, and where you also feel as though you're out of control, where you're giving away your power to other people. It's time to take that control. So if you've always had people advising you what to do, it's time to take your own counsel. Time to listen to your inner voice inside. Because when Pluto goes retrograde, it's time to do some inner soul work. So there you have it, Aquarius. It's a mixed month. Focus on your home, your family, your work, your relationships, and maybe a new love interest coming in for those that you're looking. So I wish you a great month. For those of you that would like a personal reading, please take a look at my website, yourastrologysigns.com. If you've just got a couple of questions, a mini reading might do, or maybe you'd like an in-depth reading that shows the progressions and transits coming up for you this year. Thank you very much for listening, and I wish you a great month. Bye for now.